What if Obi-Wan was killed by Order 66 on Utapau? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. Obi-Wan tumbles into the water, his body flailing around wildly as he desperately tries to swim towards the surface. But just as he starts to climb up, he's yanked back. To his shock, his foot is caught on the stirrup of his varactyl. Despite his best efforts to try and shake it free, it refuses to budge, and he gasps, unable to hold his breath any longer as he plummets into the water and disappears below. Hours later, his death is logged by the 212th when they search the lake and find his lightsaber washed up near the shore. His death is just one among many Palpatine feels on that day, but Yoda is especially hurt, recoiling as if taking a physical blow as his dear friend joins the Force. But there is little time to mourn as he makes his escape back to Coruscant. Even without Obi-Wan, he has no problem fighting his way into the Jedi Temple and seeing the full extent of the clone's damage. Even worse, he witnesses Anakin turning to the dark side. As he prepares to leave, he's joined by Bail Organa, who offers his service to help Yoda and the remaining Jedi. But before they depart, Yoda visits one more person, Padme. They meet aboard the Tantive 4, where they are away from prying eyes. Yoda's eyes scan Padme's belly, and he takes a deep breath.
Close you were to young Skywalker. His children, these are.
Master Yoda, please. You must understand. He didn't think he would ever fully be accepted by the Jedi Order.
No longer exists. The Jedi Order does. Done the damages. Prevent more is all we can do.
I'll do whatever I can, Master Yoda, to help him turn back.
Nothing we can do for Skywalker, I fear. Escape into the galaxy and plan we must. To fight Skywalker and Palpatine alone, I cannot.
Padme is stunned by this plan, as it is tantamount to running and leaving the galaxy behind. But as she stares at the wizened Jedi Master's gaze, she can see the hopelessness in the room. In less than a day, he has lost everything he had ever known, and now he knows it was because of one of their own. Truthfully, she does not envy him and can relate as well. After what she had seen in the Senate, her faith in the galaxy has been shattered too, and now she can't help but like the idea of running away as well. That is until she feels his hand on her sleeve.
Hopeless the situation is not. Hope there is for the future. But hidden we must be, away from the galaxy, to raise the children.
Although Padme is eager to get back into the fight and oppose Palpatine when she gets the chance, she knows that it is too dangerous for her to show her face with Anakin there. She reluctantly agrees, while Bail promises to keep on fighting and provide them with information about the new regime. Meanwhile, Yoda and Padme escape to Dagobah, where the two make a home within a swamp. There, the former Grand Master begins his meditations, not as a master, but as a student. He knows there is still much he doesn't understand about the Force, and this is the only way to learn. There on the planet, rich in the living Force and away from the distractions of the galaxy, he begins to learn not to channel the Force as the Jedi teach, but how to communicate with nature and channel the Force through that. Padme understands little, but instead focuses on her children. After a lengthy birthing process, she holds up a healthy pair of twins. Bail is sure to take care of them, discreetly sending supplies like medicine and food so the children can grow up strong. While she is a bit reluctant to trust her children with Yoda, recalling all the horror stories Anakin recounted about the strict and detached Jedi Order, it seems like they are starting to change their ways, as Yoda here emerges as patient, more understanding, and more in touch with his spiritual side. This reflects in his training with the kids. Yoda teaches all the fundamentals he's learned from the Jedi Order, which is to be expected, but he also shows them how to connect with the Force, to spend hours in the middle of the swamp, and simply feel the life around them. This would have been something brushed off or seen as unimportant within the Jedi Order in the past, but Yoda makes it a key part of their training. He continues to build off that, showing them not just how to feel, but how to draw on the life force of these beings and use them to give them strength. This is a talent few other Jedi can match, and the twins grow strong as a result. But as things seem peaceful within their little planet, the rest of the galaxy continues to suffer. With the bulk of the Jedi Order extinguished, the Empire rises almost unopposed, and just as promised, Palpatine begins teaching Anakin all the ways of the dark side. Without his injuries, Anakin grows immensely powerful. In terms of raw strength, he can surpass even Palpatine, which worries the Emperor, who realizes that having an apprentice this strong will mean that Anakin will one day challenge him for control of the Empire. He is careful with his teachings, holding back on the strongest abilities to prevent Anakin from overpowering him. One of the strongest powers which Palpatine teaches him is essence transfer, the same ability which will supposedly save Padme's life. This is a grim mockery of the promise that he made to Anakin all that time ago. But rather than breaking his spirit, it only infuriates Anakin further, who becomes determined to find his children. Though he doesn't know where they are, or even if they are alive, he can sense something in the Force telling him that they are still alive somewhere. As Anakin goes about the galaxy restoring order and bringing unruly systems to heal, he also sends probes to search for any sign of them, using some of the old holocrons to identify Force-sensitive children. Palpatine is all too aware of this, and is initially angry, but then sees an opportunity. As he searches for his children, he is inadvertently looking for Palpatine's true heir. He knows that Vader may one day become more powerful than him, so to prevent Vader from destroying him, Palpatine must raise another apprentice in secret, one who can challenge him. He secretly sends the Inquisitors out to these children and trains them, looking to see if one can ever truly rival Vader. The Grand Inquisitor gladly takes them to his fortress, where each one undergoes a grueling training. It is a twisted form of what the Jedi were meant to be. Like the Jedi Order, they teach these kids never to form attachments, not to love, to shun the outside world. They do not even form attachments to each other, but they teach these children to be above the rabble, to use their powers to serve the Empire and remind the people that this is their place. Many perish here, and many never grow up to be anything beyond simple Inquisitors, but they continue to push themselves further for the opportunity to rise up, as those few who Palpatine takes notice of gain considerable favor, leaving the rest to compete furiously in hopes of gaining that favor. Thankfully, there are plenty of opportunities for that. As with the Empire establishing itself, there are also new rebellions and challenges that rise up. Among the most promising is a son of 2 Jedi Masters killed during the war. He is adept in the Force and overcomes missions Palpatine had sent him on, ones he had deemed impossible. Palpatine nicknames him Starkiller. Meanwhile, the twins grow up to be incredibly talented in different ways. Luke is an incredibly talented Force user, who's refined his skills to an art. He can seamlessly form connections with other beings. Meanwhile, Leia is wilder, representing the more unpredictable nature of the Force. She is a skilled duelist and can summon great bursts of power, but struggles reining it in ways Luke can. Still, Yoda and Padme both have reason to be proud of the children. But as their training continues, both keep one ear on the happenings of the galaxy. They learn about the rebellions and the destruction and try to help however they can, providing spiritual support to the nascent rebellion and helping relocate young Jedi they find far beyond the Empire's reach. But this is also where they learn about the Inquisitors through hushed stories and nervous rumors, yet these remain just shadows. That is, until one day, when Ahsoka arrives and asks for their help, saying she has located a former Jedi Padawan and needs help securing him, as she worries the Inquisitors are closing in. With Ahsoka already being a well-known target within the Empire, she cannot approach the Jedi. Luke and Leia immediately volunteer for this task, eager to prove themselves, and Yoda agrees, wishing to see how effective his form of Jedi training truly is. A ship is contacted by Bail that takes them to the planet where Ahsoka is located. Rain pours in heavy sheets over the ruins of an old city. Thunder cracks across the sky as Luke and Leia descend from their shuttle, hoods drawn against the cold and the dark. Somewhere nearby, a life flickers, wounded, afraid, yet strong.
He's close.
Let's hope Ahsoka was right about him.
It takes some looking through the ruined square, which has now been converted into a farm. They see a young man with bright red hair working in the fields. From a distance, he looks no different from the countless other laborers working there. Luke steps forward, raising a hand.
Excuse me.
The young man, Cal Kestis, looks up, mistrust flickering in his eyes. His body tenses, one hand inching toward his saber hidden under his poncho.
What do you want?
No time for questions. Inquisitors are coming.
Luke gestures for Leia to back down as she reaches out.
I know what we're saying might sound crazy, but you're in trouble, and we're here to help. There are people, bad people, who are looking for you, and we need to get you out of here. We're putting a lot of people in danger just by doing this.
Cal continues to search Luke, trying to see if he's serious and whether this might be some trick. Seeing how he is not getting through to him, Luke reaches out with the living force and tries to connect with him. He doesn't force his way in like the Sith, but calls to him, inviting him to understand. Cal blinks and slowly relaxes, letting himself see what Luke has to offer. and there he sees the vision of Master Yoda and Ahsoka hidden somewhere, familiar faces whom Cal grew up with. He begins to relax and closes his eyes, saying he needs a few minutes to gather his things, but almost on cue, a blood-red blade ignites across the square. Another, and another. Figures emerge from the mist, cloaked, masked, merciless. The farmhands all scatter, trying to escape. One of the Inquisitors moves to cut them down, but Leia is faster and blocks her strike. Cal hesitates only for a second more before snatching up his lightsaber. His decision is made.
All right, lead the way.
Luke's saber snaps to life, a bright green flash in the storm, and he deflects the bolts and lightsabers with smooth, almost lazy precision. Leia pulls Cal behind her, her violet blade humming to life as she advances. As they fight as a unit, Luke shields Cal, deflecting blaster bolts and sabers with serene focus. Leia is fierce and wild, slashing through 2 Inquisitors with powerful, decisive strikes. But then the ground trembles. Within minutes, 4 Inquisitors and their stormtrooper support all lay dead on the ground. A dark figure crashes down from the ruins above, landing with a shockwave that sends mud and debris flying. His crimson blade roars to life, crackling with unstable energy. Starkiller. He wastes no time. A wave of raw force energy slams into them. Cal flies across the street and hits the ground. Luke staggers, and Leia braces herself just in time. Starkiller charges, a force of pure rage and precision. His lightsaber strikes are wild and aggressive, raining down attacks which Luke can barely parry, and he stumbles to the ground. But Leia is ready and meets him head-on. Their sabers clash in a blast of sparks. Leia grits her teeth, stepping back under the onslaught. Starkiller is relentless. Each blow could be deadly if she falters even for a second. Yet, whatever attack he throws, Leia hits back even harder. Across the street, Luke scrambles to Cal's side, offering a hand.
Listen to me. Breathe. Feel the force around you. You're not alone.
Cal's breath shudders in his chest. For a moment, fear clouds him. Then Luke's presence pushes back the darkness, a beacon of hope. Cal grabs Luke's hand and pulls himself up. Together they rush back into the fray. Leia's duel with Starkiller rages. She dodges and counters, using her speed and instincts to survive. Starkiller snarls, slashing wildly, but Leia never gives him the killing blow he seeks. Luke joins the battle, blocking a vicious strike meant for Leia. Side by side, the twins force Starkiller to retreat a step, snarling behind his mask. Cal joins in, taking advantage of every opening and slashing him across the shoulder. But even together they struggle. Starkiller's strength is unnatural, fueled by fury and the dark side. They don't have to fight long, as Ahsoka's ship soon appears and opens its side bays. Luke and Cal leap on board while Leia throws one more attack before joining after. Starkiller watches their ship make their escape and frowns. Those twins were powerful, more powerful than he expected. Palpatine and Anakin notice this too when the Inquisitor gives his report. Both are impressed by the power of the twins, seeing them as Anakin sees them, something they had not encountered in years. Both are intrigued for different reasons. When he looks at the two, he feels a strange familiarity with the twins. It goes beyond just gut feeling, but something in the Force itself. As if their threads are linked with his, and he begins to sense that those are his children. Palpatine, meanwhile, sees them as his key to power. Whether those are indeed Anakin's children is irrelevant. Whatever they are, they're keys to power. Even if they are, then better still, because it might be able to unsteady his apprentice and keep him from overpowering him.
This does not look good, my young Inquisitor.
I will not fail you again, my Emperor.
No, you will not. But we cannot allow these twins to remain unchecked. You must hunt them down and ensure they will not pose a threat to our plans.
It will be done, my master.
And one more thing. I want these children alive.
To this, Vader agrees. With the cat out of the bag, Yoda and Padme see no reason for the children to remain in hiding, especially since now the Empire is actively looking for them anyway. So instead, they join the rebellion and lead the special forces. They continue to launch raids on Inquisitor strongholds. They are one of the few forces truly effective at countering them, so the two are sent to beat them back and go into the offensive. It is a bold strategy, but one that pays off, as several more of those assassins meet their ends at the hands of the children. Ahsoka also joins them, and the two continue to hunt them down. However, destruction isn't solely their main cause, as they must also gather information about the children the Empire is supposedly taking. Cal continues to train with Yoda, becoming the first new Jedi their small order has gotten in almost 2 decades. With his Padawan training, Cal is already experienced in the ways of the Jedi and continues to hone his skills. Meanwhile, Starkiller and Vader continue their hunt for the children, with Anakin growing increasingly distrustful of the young Inquisitor as he suspects that this warrior is working for Palpatine to steal the children from him. This makes him more determined to find the children first and prevent him from using them and handing them over to Palpatine. They even cross lightsabers in several engagements across the galaxy. These are inconclusive, but serve to demonstrate the Inquisitor's power, with the twins being among the only ones capable of fighting them on equal footing. However, these matches serve to help other information, as they work to narrow down where the rebels might be hiding by analyzing where they strike. If he manages to find out where their base is, it will be disastrous and leave the twins nowhere to hide. To that end, Anakin formulates a daring plan to find them and hurt the Emperor at the same time. Vader begins searching for a new batch of children, but makes his probes far less subtle, letting the rebels follow them and track down the Inquisitor's own base. And when they learn of it, they see a golden opportunity to stop the Empire's next generation of Inquisitors. The rebel strike force descends like a thunderclap onto the hidden Inquisitor base, a jagged fortress carved into the cliffs of a desolate world, its spires clawing at a blood-red sky. Shuttles scream through anti-air fire, crashing into the landing platforms as blaster bolts and lightsabers ignite the storm. Leia leads the vanguard, her violet saber carving a path through the black-armored guards. Beside her, Luke weaves gracefully through the chaos, deflecting shots, pushing enemies aside with waves of the Force. Ahsoka fights further ahead, her twin sabers a blur. Padme remains on a V-wing, circling the fortress and ready to evacuate the children. There are dozens of them, frightened, Force-sensitive. They are held deeper in the fortress by terrified handlers.
Find the cells. Free them. We hold the courtyard until every last one is out.
Alarms scream through the base. Rebel drop troopers ignore it and continue to move deeper, rescuing the children and escorting them to the evacuation ships. Even some of the younger Inquisitors whose indoctrination has not been fully realized join them. Then, a chill cuts through the air. Starkiller steps into the battle, crimson saber igniting with a guttural roar. His presence is a wound in the Force, and even the bravest rebels falter under the weight of it. He cuts through multiple rebels and renegade Inquisitors, carving a path through them as he makes his way towards them. But it is then met by a purple lightsaber as Leia moves to confront him. She meets him head-on, teeth bared, violet blade clashing against his crimson in a shower of sparks. Luke moves to flank, but Starkiller is too fast, too brutal, forcing them both on the defensive.
He's stronger than before.
Then we hit harder. Fight as a team.
The courtyard becomes a maelstrom of violence as Starkiller rushes at them, his lightsaber flashing and whirling about. It sends them moving aside, but as he finishes his story, the two rush forward and attack. Their lightsabers move back and rush at him. They go from opposite sides, Leia thrusting her lightsaber at his neck and Luke slashing at his legs. But this doesn't stop Starkiller, who slides underneath. Yet, when he lands on his feet, the pair unleash a burst of Force energy that throws him back. He stumbles aside as the two of them come at him again, moving in perfect synchronization. He tries to turn and face them, but only encounters another blade storm as they do not give him any reprieve. Suddenly, another red blade joins the fray. Anakin. He surges into battle, but instead of striking at Luke or Leia, he drives his blade through Starkiller's side from behind with a savage thrust. Starkiller gasps, stumbling, collapsing to his knees, saber flickering wildly. He tries to move, but stumbles and nearly falls over. The twins are confused, but do not waste the opportunity and rush at Starkiller, who tries to defend, but his lightsaber is knocked from his hands.
You want the children saved. So do I. Help me free them, and I will make you stronger than you can imagine. Strong enough to deal with the Emperor.
Leia freezes, heart pounding. She glances at Luke. He's hesitating too, feeling the shockwave of emotion tearing through the Force.
You have potential. Together we can destroy the Emperor and rule the galaxy in his place. No more hiding. No more weakness. The galaxy will kneel to you.
Leia's eyes narrow, her knuckles whitening around her hilt.
You Sith have no shame, do you? Or loyalty. It's why we will always beat you. We will never be your apprentices.
His saber flashes, and she lunges at Vader.
Luke, mind handling the scraps?
Don't worry about him. Just be careful.
Leia strikes with pure ferocity, hammering against Vader's defenses. Luke moves more cautiously, trying to contain Starkiller, who begins to get up and readies his lightsaber. He blocks the Sith's first strikes, and then counters with a swift slash that forces Starkiller back. Though wounded, Luke proceeds cautiously, as he knows a wounded animal is the most dangerous, and this is proven smart, as when he draws close, Starkiller rushes forward with his lightsaber flashing. He defends against the strike and twists his weapon, directing it aside. Meanwhile, Leia is struggling to break Anakin's defenses. She springs forward again and again, but is met with an iron defense. Leia is past caution. Anger fuels her strikes, relentless and wild. Anakin circles around, watching as she attacks from all directions, but meets it with his strength. Blades scream against each other. The battle rages across the shattered courtyard, through smoke and flame and bodies. But Anakin decides to strike back, swinging his lightsaber and knocking her aside. But though she stumbles, she doesn't give up and turns back furiously. Her rage gets the better of her, and she rushes forward, where she manages to stagger Anakin. She strikes with renewed fury, not backing down or letting Anakin recover. She rolls under his strike and prepares to hit him from behind, but another shockwave sends her stumbling. Meanwhile, Padme, leading the rescue alongside Ahsoka, watches with growing dread. She sees her daughter losing control, her strikes too vicious, too cruel.
Leia, stop. Look at yourself.
Leia doesn't hear. She's driving Vader back, her strikes aiming to kill. Padme sprints forward, pushing through fleeing rebels and stunned prisoners. She calls out again, louder, her voice cutting across the battlefield.
Anakin, stop our daughter.
This time, Anakin hears and parries the strike, pushing her aside, but his surprise is clear. Padme decides to jump on it.
Anakin, please, give up this foolish mission. You're not saving anyone by becoming what you hate.
Padme, please. I'm trying to save the galaxy, to bring balance to the Force.
Where is the balance? People are just turning into monsters. Look around you, Anakin.
For a heartbeat, Anakin hesitates, beating Leia's attack back and staring at his daughter. Not an opponent, but his child, who looks at him with such hatred. He sees himself standing over younglings, blinded by fury, believing it was for a greater good. Anakin lowers his saber. The battle around them seems to freeze.
What are you waiting for? Finish it!
Luke shakes his head. Starkiller rushes forward and sweeps his lightsaber, but he nimbly spins aside and catches the next strike. Snarling, Starkiller advances and thrusts his lightsaber, but he pushes it aside again. With each blow, Starkiller's attacks grow more aggressive, and he pushes closer, trying to get past his defenses. But Luke doesn't rise to the bait and continues to defend against his attacks before taking a deep breath and reaching out with the Force, sensing the hurt and anger in Starkiller. The sensation sends the Sith reeling, but when he tries to attack, Luke knocks his weapon aside and points his lightsaber against his throat. But then, Luke shakes his head.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't save you from him sooner.
Starkiller flinches, as if struck. He expected death, not this.
You don't have to keep fighting for someone who never cared about you. You're not their weapon anymore.
Starkiller's lip trembles beneath his mask. He thinks of the endless pain, the brutal training. Tears mix with the blood on his face. His whole body shakes.
I don't know anything else.
Luke places a steady hand on his shoulder.
Then let's figure it out together.
For a long, agonizing moment, Starkiller stares at Luke, at the impossible offer in his eyes. Then, slowly, he nods. Inside the command center of the crumbling fortress, Starkiller grimaces as he activates a security Imperial comm station. The flickering image of Emperor Palpatine appears, his face twisted into a mask of malevolence.
You have them.
Yes, my master. The children have been captured. Requesting immediate transport to relocate them to Fortress Inquisitorius for reconditioning. There is another thing. Vader. He tried to kill me. I fought him off, but I think he will try to join the children.
Palpatine's eyes gleam.
Prepare for my arrival. I will oversee their transformation personally.
Hours later, under the cover of darkness, Palpatine himself descends onto the ravaged world, guarded by elite troopers and dark acolytes. But waiting in the fortress are Anakin, Luke, Leia, Ahsoka, Yoda, Cal, and now Starkiller. As the Emperor steps onto the landing platform, cloak billowing like a living shadow, the trap springs shut. Ahsoka, Yoda, and Cal ignite their sabers, launching themselves at the Emperor's guards, cutting a path through the elite troopers with surgical precision. Inside the command center, Vader, Luke, and Leia confront Palpatine directly.
Ah, the Skywalkers, the prodigal children, come to kneel, have you?
We come to end you.
Palpatine laughs, lifting both hands. Bolts of pure, searing lightning explode toward them. As the smoke clears, the trio scatters, with Luke standing in the middle. Along with Anakin, they rush forward and deflect the next bolt. They strain under the assault. Finally, Luke dives forward, flanking him, slicing at Palpatine's robes. But the Sith Lord moves with unnatural speed, evading his blade and sending him sprawling with a force push. Yet Anakin lunges next, locking sabers with Palpatine. The two titans clash, the Force trembling under the weight of their hatred and betrayal. But from the side, Luke joins in, sweeping his lightsaber and forcing the Emperor to leap. But Anakin leaps, able to knock him back. In the chaos, Palpatine sends the smoke flying towards his apprentice, who tries to dissipate it, but feels Palpatine's lightsaber strike across his side and sends him sprawling. But Luke comes in from the side, flowing through the Force, seeking calm and effortlessly deflecting each assault.
Do you think you can defeat me, boy? You are the weakest of the three. I sense it. Unable or unwilling to take power.
Do not underestimate me, Sith Lord. I am Luke Skywalker, son of Anakin and Padme, master of the living Force.
But as he keeps Palpatine's attention, a shape moves from the corner of his eyes. Leia leaps out and hurls her lightsaber, sending it spinning towards him and grazing his side. With that distraction, Luke rushes forward and drives his foot into Palpatine's side and knocks him over. Together they push Palpatine back, blow by blow. Palpatine unleashes another torrent of Force lightning, this time stronger, but Anakin steps in, taking the full brunt to shield Luke and Leia. The energy arcs around him, but Anakin stands firm.
Now!
Luke and Leia move as one. Leia slashes low, Luke strikes high, and Vader drives his blade straight through Palpatine's chest. The Emperor shrieks, a sound of pure, ancient malice, before he crumbles into ash and darkness, ripped apart by the power he once commanded. With Palpatine defeated, the remaining children are brought to Dagobah, where Yoda and the others begin to train them, deprogramming the Inquisitor training with the help of Luke, Leia, Ahsoka, and Vader. Once that is done, they join the fight against the Empire as the new Jedi Order. Meanwhile, Padme joins the fight against the Empire politically. There she begins to challenge the disorganized Imperial Senate and slowly takes power away from them, and slowly works to restore the Republic. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.